Who doesn't want to shoot a big buck during deer season every year? But how much more is there behind the scenes to ensure your success year after year? Properly managing your property for good deer management is a must in order to be successful year after year in harvesting a mature whitetail buck. First thing you need to do is take a look at is the property in which you're hunting to see if it has the necessary things needed to sustain a healthy whitetail herd, like good cover, bedding areas, water, food. These are a must. If your property doesn't have this, there are plenty of things you can do, like adding artificial watering holes, planting food plots, hinge cutting trees to create bedding areas. To add an artificial watering hole, it's not as tough as one might think. You simply use an old plastic pond tub. It's a large plastic tub, comes in different shapes like oval or kidney shape. A lot of people use them to put in their yard for ponds. You can find used ones at garage sales really cheap. You'll want to bury that tub in the ground where the top of the tub is almost level with the ground, and then fill it with water. I always add a stick or a piece of vine into the tub so small animals that can fall in can get out safely. This ensures the water will not become contaminated with a dead rodent floating in your pond, which is also much more appealing for your deer when they get thirsty. When it comes to planting food plots, not to worry, you don't need a tractor or large equipment, but you will need to take a rake and some serious elbow grease. Today we have several different types of seeds for food plots that are called throw and grow, and it's just like it sounds. You select your area in the spring or early summer, preferably at the edge of a field or any area without trees, as leaves, when they fall in autumn months, can smother and kill your food plot. You're going to take and rake up the ground an inch or so deep, removing all the weeds and grasses, so it's just a really roughed up area of clean dirt. And then, just like it says, you can throw and grow it. Hand sow it, so to speak, just like you would do grass seed. You're just going to lightly sprinkle it and cover the ground. So it's just like grass seed, really. And then you're going to allow the Mother Nature to take its course. Food plots are really beneficial for your whitetail deer herd, as they normally have the exact nutrients that the whitetails need most for growing and putting body weight and mass on. Kind of like Popeye's spinach, but for deer. Another thing you can do on your property, if you have woods that are really open without any thick areas, is called hinge cutting trees to make cover. The way this is done is to select a tree, preferably 12 to 16 inches in diameter, with a bushy or brushy top. And with a bow saw or a chainsaw preferably, you're going to cut 3/4 of the way through the tree, about 4 to 5 feet off the ground. And then allow the tree to tip over while staying connected to the base of the tree. This looks like a down tree to a white-tailed deer, which they like to use as cover and they sleep underneath it. You're going to want to do this to several trees in one area of your woods. This will create kind of a thick bedding area, and eventually the briars will grow up in there as well. Deer want to sleep in the really, really thick areas. They want to feel protected so nothing can get to them, or it has to make noise to get to them. So this is why the deer really like the thick areas. This is now your deer's bedding area, and you as a hunter don't go in there, ever, unless you're tracking a deer that you've just shot, or it's springtime or the off season. You leave this alone. This is their sanctuary. There should be no human presence in this area. Human presence to a white-tailed deer is what we call hunting pressure. There are ways to minimize your property's hunting pressure, but make no mistake about it. If you have high pressure on your property, white-tailed bucks will not stay in your area, and your chances of shooting a large buck year after year greatly lessen. Now you have your property ready. How do you hunt this property is almost as important. When selecting your area to hunt, make sure you not only can get into it, but you can also get away from your spot as easy without having any noise or distractions or being able to spook any deer. That's a must. When you find a spot, make sure if it's like, let's say on the field edge, that you can get out of that area and get away from it come nightfall if there are deer in their field without spooking them. This is very, very challenging to do, but it's a must. You have to be able to get to and from the stand without making any without bumping deer, is what we call it. Every time you spook your deer, it's considered pressure, and you're basically teaching your deer that that area that's being hunted is danger, and they will eventually stay away from that area, which is not a good thing if you're a deer hunter. It's because of this you will want to make a few spots, not just one, and to hunt. And depending on the wind and the size of your hunting area, is how many spots you'll have. But depending on the wind, is kind of how you're going to pick which spot to hunt that night. You always want to walk in from and hunt the downwind side of your property. So if the wind's blowing out of the southwest, you're going to want to hunt the northeast corner or the northeast side of your property. That's to keep your scent down. They can't smell you. You see, a deer's nose is 10 times better than a bloodhound's. You will not beat it. The way I like to explain this to people is, imagine humans smell to a deer like a skunk smells to humans. You know when a skunk has even been in the area, let alone if they're still there. That's how a deer can smell us humans, only way better. So if they can't smell you, to them, you're not there, which is less pressure, and less pressure means more deer. See the pattern here? Okay, so now you have your property ready, your hunting locations are all set up. Next is deer selection. Most hunters I know not only hunt to get the big beautiful white-tailed buck, but also to fill the freezer. With that said, families of 4 will only eat about 2 to 3 deer a year, and that's if they eat venison several times a month. A good rule is to try to only shoot mature white-tailed bucks 4.5 years or older. Most likely they will be an 8-point or larger at that age. They will have a large block body style and a real heavy rack compared to the younger bucks. If you only shoot the older mature bucks on your property, then there will always be mature bucks left for the next year's harvest. Then you can shoot a doe or two to help fill the freezer for your year's harvest if need, based on your family size. Here's some stats. Bow season starts October 1st through November 14th. Then deer gun season opens November 15th through November 30th. Then bow season again opens December 1st through January 1st. Muzzleloader season opens from December 3rd through the 12th and overlaps the second bow season. And then there's the antlerless deer gun season, which runs from December 13th through January 1st, that also overlaps the second bow season. Michigan is one of the highest hunting pressure states there is, with almost 10 hunters per square mile, and that's including all of the Upper Peninsula because of how many hunters are based in the southern state. What I'm trying to say is, if you look at hunting season like a marathon and not a sprint, no matter what happens, you stick to your game plan. You hunt your stands according to the wind, don't overpressure your hunting area, and you will be successful year after year. There are 92 possible days to hunt white-tailed deer in Michigan. Most families really only need 2 to 3 deer. That's plenty of time. Don't rush anything. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Happy hunting.